recording. Alright. So here we go. Now I have the important. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and make my first person project. Name it whatever. Whatever. Alright. So I should be fine to go ahead and use this one for the purposes of this example. So we'll get the player started here. So what I come with in the default here is, I have my character. I can look around. I can shoot. Sure. So, actually, I meant to also check. What's the name of it? BP first person character. Okay. So.
Oh, Mateo, just a quick preference. Sorry to interrupt. Just a quick preference. Through this, I guess will you kind of like keep going, and we just ask questions along the way, or will you have like
Feel free to cut in at any point if you have a question, and don't feel rude in terms of cutting me off.
Yes, unless it's Brady, right?
You are both free to cut me off.
Yes, anti-Brady club has not ended.
All right.
So in regards of this, right, you've used Unreal Engine 5 for how long so far?
Honestly, I haven't used Unreal Engine 5 that much, but honestly, in terms of the functionality, I found that Unreal Engine 5 seems to just be Unreal Engine 4.5. Like, in terms of the data structures, I'm not doing anything in a fundamentally different way. It's more that I'm just the main thing that's different is the input system, which is a pain in your rear end that I'm still trying to figure out. In any case.
Okay. That was just interested in. Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I gotta learn Unreal 5 as well.
So here, interesting. I'm using cats. Whatever. Here I have the player character. I'm just going to make a simple variable called score, and then make that actually, no, that should be an integer, now that I think about it. And I'll also go ahead and make a float and call it random float. This will just be a useful little number to demonstrate things. Actually,
so if I'm on the third person template right now, what do I'm on character,
sure.
like I'm on my character folder, but what do I need to click on to get into my character blueprint?
Sure. So honestly, if you know the name of it offhand, you should just be able to do BP underscore, and if you used one of Unreal's templates, you can use the third person. Alternatively, it's whatever you named it, and then just double click it.
Actually, you know what? Let me just do what you're doing instead of trying to add it to mine.
No, I think adding it to yours could be fine. Do you want to share your screen so I can see what you're talking about?
I got rid of it.
No, it's been done. Whatever.
He destroyed, Mateo. He did the one thing you're not supposed to do. He destroyed.
No, I'm perfectly okay destroying. I just want to make sure I destroy the right things.
Let's see. Here's the games, first person.
And while you're doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and make a struct real quick. Okay. It's not letting me.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay, it's because I wasn't in the content folder. Makes sense. Okay, let's see. Blueprint, struct. I'm just going to call this s underscore save data. This is an optional step, but I just recommend having struct so that way you can manage your data more properly. So I'm gonna make this a. Let's.
So what was it? An actor, or what
Sure.
was it?
So it's
blueprint.
BP underscore first person character. If you want to search that in content.
Well, I mean the blueprint that you just
The one
made.
that I just made. Oh, right click, blueprint structure.
Got it.
Yeah, this is just a collection of pieces of data. So, right, I have a integer for the score, and then I can go ahead and have
Okay.
plus button. Oh, here, add variable. There we go. And then I'm going to have a transform, which will be my last location. Well, last transform specifically, because that will include rotation stuff. Okay, so our last transform. And just for what's up?
Where is the add
Oh,
button?
add variable right here.
Oh, it's a plus. It's add variable. It's the green plus.
There we go.
And I'll also have the random float.
Transform. Last transform.
Okay,
What was the name of the float?
random float. So I'm just setting 3 variables here. You could have whatever variables you want. So score, last transform, random float. I know you mentioned for your game you might want to have a door count.
Yes.
So yeah, you might want to add a value for that. And let me actually just get rid of these 2 variables. Now let me save that up as well. S underscore. And then I'll make a save data variable, and I can go into here.
Alright. So this blueprint, you're just under your
Yep,
character.
this is just under my character.
So BP first person.
And I'm going to go ahead and add the save data struct.
Okay, let's see here. I am moving drastically slow.
No worries. Believe me, I deal with people way less technically literate than you for my job.
Chance will do that to you.
I actually don't work
And
at
the
Code Ninjas
save
anymore,
data-
Jamal. Didn't you hear about that?
Oh no, I was referencing when you. I'm
Oh,
referencing
sure,
the
yeah.
time you did.
Honestly, the kids were.
And the
Oh,
save,
what's up?
the save data. What did integer did you put it under?
So I'm a little confused. What integer did I put the save data under?
Not integer. Sorry, variable.
What variable? Ah,
So I see it's blue. It's like dark blue.
right. Ah, so you can search for any type of variable, any type of value here. So I named mine S underscore save data, S for structure. So I can literally just search it up.
I need to find
There it is,
mine
yep.
then.
You know what you named it?
I'm about to name it what you named it. S underscore structure.
Yeah, that would work fine.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And so now, whenever I need to transfer and load save data, I can do it with one struct instead of moving 3. And if I do need to break them up,
then mine would be called S structure then, right?
yep.
And that variable is save data.
And this is just a useful general Unreal tip. Anytime you need to get a specific value from something, break. And it'll get you the individual values.
Alright, so then I need to get value to...
Oh no, you don't actually need to get it for anything. I was just showing for demonstration purposes.
Oh, got it.
Okay, so let me see what... I also mentioned... Oh, right. So now that we actually have that save data set up, I'm going to actually go ahead and create something that increments a score. So if I go over to... Let me just make a very simple blueprint real quick. Actor BP underscore points. Then I'm going to add a cube so I can actually see it. Add a box collision. And I'm going to set the size of that to 75. 75.
You said 75, 75?
Yeah, just so that way it's a little bigger than the box itself, so you can actually glide.
So the scale on the box right now is like ones?
Oh, yeah, no, it's the box extent for the collision.
Got it. So everything down there is 75.
And then from here, I'm just going to go to the on component begin overlap for the cube, which is a collision. This I'm sure you've done a million times.
I've actually, yeah, this is out of all of the ones that I have messed with, this is the one I've messed with the most.
Sure, yeah. So let me actually do it in a little bit of a different way then, so I can give you a little more information. Let me go ahead. Have you worked with blueprint interfaces ever?
No, I've done basic blueprints.
Okay, gotcha. So blueprint interfaces are very useful to just send general messages from one to another, and the reason that you might want to use them over casts is, one, it's going to be more performant, and two, it's going to allow you to just call a function, and even if...
You know, I definitely want to hear the word performant, because in a VR game space, that is almost the most important thing.
Yep. So they're more performant, and they also have... You can call a specific function, and if, say, that actor doesn't implement the interface, it'll just ignore it and move on. It won't cause any bugs or anything. So I'll make an interface, BPI underscore player character. Then I'll open it up. And I'm going to go ahead and make a function called getPoints. And I'm going to go ahead and also add an input here. And I'm going to make it the points. So I can have different objects give different amounts of points. Now, as you notice, I can't actually drag things off here, because what I'm basically doing is I'm just saying that anything that implements this interface will have the option to call this function. So, yeah, if you wanted to maybe have one object that implements it on a normal mode, where it gives you the normal number of points, you do that. But then on a hard mode, maybe it only gives you half the number of usual points. So instead of having to do a bunch of weird math, you can just do the specific math for the exact type of object that you're working with. So it's really useful for that. I'll also, this is optional, add another function, and I'll call this getCopy of player. And I'll just go ahead and have this send a BP underscore first person character, and then an object reference to that.
Okay, I didn't see that second part where you referenced it.
So BP underscore first person character.
Where are you typing that? Is it in the search under details?
Oh, so this is for the, so first I made another function. Are you with me so far? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you did. You put another input
I added one input, and then I just changed the value to BP underscore first person character. and then some object reference to that.
Object reference, okay.
Now, there's two different ways that I can sort of, going back to the points code, add a score to it. There's the generally cleaner way, which is just to say, other actor. Well, first I should compile and save this.
Yep, that I did.
I realized right before I was like, I want to make sure it actually shows up. So BPI, and that's why I put BPI at the start, so I can go ahead and get the specific message. The clean way would be to get points, and then I can decide how many points I want this object to give.
What if I don't see get points?
Did you make that function?
Did
you save and compile?
So let me... I made that function under BP first person character. No, wait, no.
Was that a blueprint interface that you made, or was it under a blueprint?
Alright, so I see BP points under a blueprint.
Okay.
But, so... Where would get points have been made?
That would have been that would have been under an interface. Are you caught up now?
All right. So what it's created under the BPI, but all I'm getting for the let's see when I go to.
Could you share your screen so I can see what you're looking at?
Yeah. So. Okay.
Let me take a look here.
So when I get here, I type in BPI. I see the BPI player character, but I don't see the get.
2 down.
Oh, that's on real for you.
Hey, but you know what though? It's better to learn here than anything else.
Alright, so honestly, what I probably recommend doing here, promote to variable, and then, make it public, so that way you can decide. You probably wouldn't want to do this, but if you wanted different objects to be worth more points based on how hard they are to reach, that's how you would do it. I'm going to set the default value to 1, so it gives you a point. That's the cleanest way to do that. If you wanted to be extra fancy with your debugging, you could also go does implement interface, and then a branch off that.
Would it be better that if I just follow?
I would recommend just following, and if you want to reference this later, then yeah,
because you're going real fast.
Yep.
It's okay. It's not on you. I mean, it's just I'm having a hard time keeping up.
But anyways, what that does is checks if it implements the interface. So that way, if the actor overlaps it, I can say print string. Okay. Does not have interface. That just makes my debugging a little easier. So that way, if I see, I'm not getting points, what's going on? Instead of going everywhere and just realizing that, I can just, yep, that's showing up there. So with that, I think we're ready to get our first little test case in. I have that there. And then start. Does not have interface. So everything's working as expected. Now to fix that, so it's actually, recognizing us, I'm going to go ahead and go in here into our player character. Then you're going to go to class settings. And then you are going to go to implemented interfaces. Add. And then there's a whole list of interfaces that are just built into Unreal. So BPI underscore. And that way I can see the ones that I made myself. super useful, and if there's one naming convention thing that you can learn here, it is making sure that you have the proper... It doesn't matter what naming convention that you use, but you have one that you use to open up your files with so you can find out where stuff are supposed to be. So now that I have the interface added, I have the events that I can implement here. So the get copy of play... Oh, shoot. I actually goofed up here. For the get copy of player, that wasn't supposed to be an input. That was supposed to be an output. So if you're doing that part, go ahead and correct that so it's an output instead of an input. Now, file, save, go back here. So that disappears. Then I double click this. Okay. So if I ever need all of the player character's data for whatever reason, I still can get that without doing a cast. I'm just going to drag off this, type in self, and get reference to self. That's it. Now, in terms of implementing the score, we're going to implement an event here. I'll get rid of that. It's outdated. This one is fairly simple math. Basically, I'm just going to take this save data component, and I'm going to go ahead and say, let's see, split struct pin. And honestly, this might be a little more irritating to do in a struct as opposed to a single variable, but in the long term, it's more useful. So if we go, say, plus, so I add these two together, put it in save, so however many points I have, it's going to be the same number plus however many I got from that. Then I'm going to keep the other two values the same, so I'm just going to plug that in. And then, while I'm at it, let me go ahead and print string. And while I'm at it, let me just plug this in, so that way we can see our score actively. Are you guys following along so far?
Yes.
I'm listening.
Save all, save selected. Alright, so now I touch it. I didn't actually make it disappear, but that's useful. Alright, so I have a score of 4. The problem is when I start the game again, my score resets. Because whenever I reload a level, that's what it does. Yep.
This is the part I'm stuck on.
The solution to that is going to be a save game object. And what that actually does is it just saves a little file to your computer that you can save data to and load data from. So the first step is actually creating it. And the area that you do that is, there might be another place that you can. This is how I know how to do it. Just blueprint class. We're not going to actually select any of these. We're going to go to all classes. BP underscore say, what is it? Oh, it's not BP underscore, so it's just save game. So I'm going to select that, and then BP underscore, or, sorry, not PP, not peanut butter and J. BP save game object. And this is where it's actually going to go ahead and save the data. So here, if we go ahead and go variables, I'm going to go ahead and add all of the variables I want to save. And by that, I mean literally just underscore save data. Now, I'm actually going to go ahead and create another interface to communicate with this little node, just to make it easier on myself. So if I go here, I'm going to make a blueprint interface again. BPI underscore save interface. I have my first function, I'll call it save game. And then my next function, I'll call load game. Okay. So, you know what? I feel like this will be fun. For save game and load game, one of them is going to use inputs, one of them is going to use outputs. Which do you think is which?
The output is save, the input is load.
Well, let's try that. So you said the output was save?
Yes.
So let's go ahead and do that. Save data structure. Save game. Alright, so let's see if we can go ahead and implement saving the game now, and then we'll worry about correcting the values later. C, BP save game object. So now I'm going to go class settings, and I'm going to go ahead and class, that's right, interfaces, here we go. BPI underscore save interface. And of course I only see the two that I have there. Now, if I go to, did I add it properly? BPI here. You did. I forget to, oh, that's why. Here they are. Okay. So now for save game. So for save game, what I actually want to happen is to go ahead and receive this data and store it here. So you did get it reversed, but that's okay. So for save game, we actually want the input because this object will receive the save game data and store it.
Okay.
And for the load game, we're going to send it back over. Well, let me call it save data because it's still the save data that we're loading. Okay. Compile and save, so that way it shows up here. And game, load game. Okay, so for loading the game, it's quite simple. We just take that on. Let me rename this. We take the save data and we send it over. For save game, it's also fairly self-explanatory. We set the save data to save data. And those are the two functions that we actually need in order to save the information throughout our code. So if I go over to BP points here, and I'm doing the option where I get points from the player. Now I can go ahead and implement the saving on my player character. So the first thing that I should do when I start the game, and let me go ahead and get a sequence here just so it doesn't get messed up. Okay, so I'm first going to do all of the things that they say here. Let me move them up a bit. But after that, I'm going to go ahead and load data. So I'm going to see, does save game exist? And so this checks to see if there is an existing save data. So I can name this save slot whatever I want. But because you will need it to be consistent, I actually recommend promoting it to a variable and keeping it private. So slot name. Honestly, if you only plan to have one save slot or one piece of data that you're tracking, you can literally just keep it, whatever, fish.
Yeah.
Okay, and then pretty predictably, if a save game exists, we're going to do something. If it doesn't exist, we're going to do something else. So if the save game does exist, I'm going to load game from slot. I'm going to use the same slot name. You can also drag from this one over here. I prefer to have it just to make things look right. Oh, and also make sure the user index is the same, but that's unlikely to be an issue unless you actually, what's the word? Unless you actually have multiple saves or something. But in any case.
Oh, like
right.
Like for instance, save
right,
files.
Yeah. Where you have save file 1, save file 2, save file 3. In any case, so any game that you have a glitch where you're able to load data from other save files, typically it's because they're using a system structured similarly to this. Let me see. So in terms of actually getting the data and putting it back in our character, what we're actually going to do here, and I don't like doing this, to BP underscore save game object. You know what, actually, this is a less performant way to do it. It is only called once when you load the level, so it's not like it's an ongoing thing. But regardless, it's still probably not best practice, so I'll show you how to do it a little bit cleaner. So if I go to the BPI save interface, and I add another function, actually, if I just go to the load game, and I say get copy, or hold on, copy of. Actually, I think because I used a BPI interface before, I actually don't need the cast. I stand corrected. So I can literally just do load game. Oh wait, no, that would also be an output. I don't even need the output, so just ignore that last part. I'm just thinking of how I might structure this.
Hey, that's okay. Yeah.
Compile save. Okay. It needs to be refreshed. Load game. There we go. So this, as long as it has a valid some sort of save game object, as keep in mind, our specific BP underscore save game, it's inheriting all of the values of save game object. So it's a type of that object, but it has some extra stuff that we added to it. So this allows us to get the extra stuff that we added to it without having to explicitly say, hey, this is explicitly a cast to BP underscore save game object. So this, we're saying, hey, it's specifically this, convert all of the information over, make no mistakes. Where this is just sort of sending a letter. That's going to be a bit more performant. So now that we have that, we're loading the save game from the slot. So now we have the save data that was loaded from the file here. And so we're putting it in here. Now that's if there is a save game that exists. If there's not, let's go ahead and create a save game object. Say BP underscore save game. And then the values should default to what we have here. But if we go ahead and save game message, honestly, this shouldn't be necessary, but it's still kind of useful. Oh, right, I remember what we need to do. Then we go ahead and go save game to slot. So something I will want to clarify real quick is this is a file that actually writes to your computer. Everything else is just stored locally in the level in Unreal. Once we actually pass this in, actually do this. This is actually what creates it. And then this is what loads the data from our computer. So these two are the little magic functions that allow us to read and write data. Okay, so now that that has been created, we can go ahead and test it out. It's not going to work quite yet because I haven't actually gotten it to save the game after you get points. But I can still show you that, it's not having horrible errors. 2, 3. If I go back in, 1, 2, 3. All right. So now in order to actually load it, it's quite simple. We're going to go ahead and do save game to slot. And then when we're loading the game, now that I think about it, it actually makes more sense to go ahead and, if I go to my BPI save, with my load game, I'm going to go ahead and add another output and call it I'm just going to call it save game object. Now that does mean I will need to go to the save game object. Oops, I need to actually set it to that in here. And let me know if I'm going too fast. So save game object. So that way, when I go over save, oh wait, I have to go to the interface first. Oh wait, no, I'm in the right place. So if I go to load data, get a reference to self, and so that basically says, okay, send a copy of this object over to where I have my, wrong object. Load game, here we go. I'm just going to promote this to a variable. So now I'm actually storing my save game object that I created. And I can also do this here. And actually, that should be the first thing that I do. Solution. Let me just do this. So instead of dragging all the way from here over to there, it's very clean. I'm just pulling from this object that I'm saving a copy of to save the game, and then save the game to the slot. And so now that I have that save game object, I'm going to go ahead and update it with the most up-to-date information. You would only actually have to do this if you were swapping levels or something. But if you wanted an autosave feature, this would be how you do it. Save data. I'm going to set it to... it's not the save data value setting. I am going to... I'm going to do a save game message. I'm going to pass this save data in. Let me get rid of this print string. I'm going to save the game to the slot. And then the slot name. Let me make sure I didn't forget to plug that in anywhere else. Nope. Okay. So that should be just about everything. Let me go ahead and... Actually, now let me just... string... And I'll go ahead and print score. Okay, so this should be all that's necessary in order to actually get it to save that information on the computer. So from the beginning, first thing we do is we check if a save game exists. If it does, we load it. We store that data in our local variables. If it doesn't, then we create one. And we store that data here. And then we update it. This one doesn't do anything, but it might if for whatever reason you were spawned into the world late. I don't see how that could happen, unless you're working on some weird multiplayer game. And save game to slot, this actually writes it to our computer. And then every time that we get a point, we're going to add that to our score. To go ahead and here. Oh, and you know what? Let me actually do this. Actually, before I do that, let me just go ahead and ensure that it's working. Compile, save. Okay. When I start the game, 1, 2, so my score is 2. When I start the game again, 3, 4. So it's storing the variable, even though I'm going in and out of the level again and again, because it's just reading from the same file. Now, what if I want to go ahead and clear my save data? Easiest way to do that, I think there's actually a function for it. Yeah, delete game in slot. That would get rid of it. I don't see why you would want to do that. What's up?
For instance, that would be what you use. Let's say your player dies. Okay.
Alternatively, you could go the hard way of, setting score to 0. More effort than it's worth. So you wouldn't use that if you were actually to save the player's game, but if you were just using it to store data through levels, that's how you would do it. And that's what you would have different slot names for. So you might have one that's called save, one that's called temporary. It doesn't matter what I put there because it's all connected to the same variable. But let's say that I wanted to go ahead and respawn at the last place I transformed. Well, then I would need to save that data. This is a terrible idea, so don't actually do this, but it's just to... Actually, you know what? No, I'll do it in a better way. Let me duplicate this. BP underscore respawn. And I'm going to be pretty outrageous here. I'm going to get rid of the box. Oh, not the box. The cube. And I'm going to replace it with a sphere. And I'm going to change the code here. Instead, whenever I overlap with it, I am going to... If it does implement the interface, what about this? I'm going to... Oh, I'm glad I did this. BPI underscore BPI. Get a copy of the player. Other actor. Okay, so now that I have a copy of the player, get actor transform, and then I'm also going to get actor Isn't that giving it person character reference? Save it. What do you call it? Oh, save data. Okay. So I get the save data. I'm going to keep the score and the random, I'll regenerate a random float. This is what I had it. This is why I was doing that before, just so I could show that the value was different every time. Give me a number.
5.
Brady, give me the other number.
2.
Okay, it's going to be a small range. So that'll be the data here. And then get the save game object. Save game to slot. Honestly, this would probably be a lot easier if I were just to create a function from the player character and call that. But I'm committed at this point. Slot name. Alright. Oh, but I actually run the save game function from this. Message. Boop. 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 Okay. So now if I put this object in my world, I don't mind that sticking out of the floor, I can have different respawn points. Okay. Play the game again. Uh-oh. Oh. The reason that's happening is because I didn't actually tell the player character to go to the starting location. So when I load the game from the slot, setting save data there, let me just go ahead and split struct. Really? World transform. I wonder why that wasn't showing up. From there?
It'd be like that.
There we go. So now, compile, save. Now I should respawn here, I think. No, it's not doing that. Okay. Let me see if I can figure out why that's not happening. CPU respawn?
Yep. What doesn't work? Why? What works?
Yep, exactly. Okay, get a copy of player character. Actor. Okay, let me see this. Oops. 1, 5, 2. So this should tell me at least how far it's getting. Slot. It's because I didn't save it. 2. 2. Do that. Let me figure out what this transform is. Actually, no, I should get it when I'm loading the data. It is what I'm doing here, okay. Put that in there, it'll put the data for me. Okay. Currently set to 0, which it should be. The problem is it's not getting updated. So let me go to save data. Actually saving it in the respawn. Here's the issue. I never actually punched that little note in there.
Oh.
It was just faulting. Alright. I'm not going to remove the flag so I don't feel like it. There. There. Ooh. That was a little peculiar. I seem to spawn in the wrong place. I don't know why that happened. Okay, so I should respawn at this one.
It looked like you spawned where you stopped.
No, because I spawn over here on top of that object, even though, you know, it's far away from all 3 of the spawn points I set. See here. Let me remove 2 and just leave 1. 171. Am I getting the right actor transform? Okay, so I spawned to a different position here. I think it might be giving me some weird conversion between some old information. Oh, yeah, I think that's it. Get world transform first person. Yes, okay, so it was getting a relative transform as opposed to a world. So it was asking how far away the player character was from where they started out. Oh, it slowed down for a second. I thought I was going to crash. Still doing it. Interesting. That's add, not set. That's world transform. What is a root component? The first person character. It would be the capsule component. Europe. Okay. Let's try this. There we go. Always something. And I spawn this one, move over to this one, and spawn up the one protruding out of the ground a bit. Yes, I do. Okay, perfect. All right. And you can do this for literally any data types. And you can use that for whatever slots that you need. Any questions?
I have one just in pertaining to my game, but I didn't know if Javon had any in relations to this.
I can't really have questions because I can't really be in the file. I mean, well, again, I don't have the screen space really to operate well at this time because trust me, I just have full screen and a lot of stuff looks small.
All right.
But yeah,
So let me go ahead and.
I mean, I can ask things later, but I feel like Bray's question is more immediate.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and go back to my other game real quick. So I'm just going to be swapping out on Reels.
Sure. And are you still sharing your screen?
Yes, I will be. Let's see here.
Okay. Oh, so I'm gonna say, are you going to continue recording, or are you just going to end the recording here?
I'm going to continue recording.
File size.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
No, I'm just making sure.
I got plenty of file space.
In case excuse me, in case I forget his answer, I want to.
Oh well, no. I would say, because Ray, you say you can't accept big files, so like depending on how long the recording is, you may not.
I'm just gonna upload this to YouTube.
No. OBS file's fine. I've saved.
Oh yeah, you do have YouTube. Never mind, don't forget it. You have YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, even if I didn't want other people to see it, I could just make it unlisted. I haven't said anything too incriminating yet.
Oh yeah, and it's okay. Even if he does, me and you will both.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So in my particular situation, and I don't know if I have to change this later on, because I definitely have to rebuild the game. Right. But for my specific situation, my code is attached to my door.
Okay.
So I have a door blueprint.
Sure.
And essentially what it is right now, this is just me messing around trying to get it to work. Let me see here. Let me see if I can remember what the heck I was doing.
Huh. It looks like when you walk through the door, you are no longer able to move. Is that accurate?
What the heck was I doing?
Uh-oh, bro, you were supposed to comment. Uh-oh.
No. I'm just trying to figure out where all my door stuff is. Is this the right? Yeah, because it's right here.
Uh-huh.
Sure it wasn't the door next to it?
That's not the right door. That's not the right door. Thank God. I was like, where the heck is my door?
Honestly, if you just click on it's the door to the left of it that you want, right?
Hey, yeah, there we go. That's the door to the right.
That's the door to the right, perfect. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so right now, on trigger, cast a third person, and then it goes into a random generator, and then it pops you out at, a small level or a big level.
Okay.
Or something like this. So let's say I wanted these, like puzzle rooms, a shop, another room you had to go to. In this scenario, should I attach right now the variable that I want to track is dimensions opened. As it states right now, would that be better to do all of this work in the door or have it on the character? Because I'm going to...
Honestly, in this case, I would probably say neither. And here's what I would recommend you go ahead and do. So, go ahead and go ahead and, wherever you want to do this, a save game object.
I guess I'll just do it right here, and then I'll find a home for it.
Blueprint class, yep.
Yep, and then save game.
Exactly right. And give it a name.
Well, what I need to know, I guess, what this is going to do.
Sure. So call it. I'd say BP _ door save.
Okay.
Okay, and then go ahead and open that up. Give it one variable and call it doors or doors open or whatever.
Yeah, I got you.
And make it an integer.
Door.
Yep.
Integer.
Alright. Compile, save it. Now go ahead and make a blueprint interface. Oh, yeah, you go to right click.
Yeah.
Blueprint.
Immediately, and then it's somewhere down here. Yeah. Interface.
And VPI underscore door save interface. Go ahead and open that up.
I mean, if you do I need to put the other part or?
No, it's optional. I mean, because it says BPI door save, it doesn't save a thing with a BP door save. So go ahead and open that up.
Got it.
Call that event increment integer. And then you're going to go ahead.
Do I need to space
No,
this?
as a matter of fact, it's better not to, as it automatically does it for you. Best coding practice is camel case. Yeah, see how it does that in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go ahead and compile and save it, go back to your BP door save.
Oh.
Class settings. Top of the screen.
Yep.
Add interface. Yep.
Here.
BPI underscore. And now you're going to go ahead and implement the event incrementer. So if you just look on the left where it says event increment integer, double click that. You're going to drag off of that. Oh, yeah, that little icon there. And then you're going to say increment. Oh, not that. No, actually, hold on. Go ahead and drag off your doors integer, the variable. Do a get of that. And then drag off of that and say increment. Yep. Plug that in. And then you should be able to save game to slot just right off that.
Don't tell me it was that easy.
That's going to be a lot of. Is this what you don't know?
Game slot.
Save game
Really,
to
And then the slot name, type in door. I don't think you even need to go ahead and
for oh here.
then drag off save game object. That little node there, the blue one.
Yeah.
Self.
There it is.
Okay. So this will give you the option to go ahead and save it. What I recommend doing now is going to the player character.
Okay, so I gotta find that. So the actual player
Yep.
character itself, not the door. Okay.
Well, I guess you could theoretically do it in a door.
But I just want to know what I guess practice
I
is.
mean, honestly,
You know.
you could go either way. If it's a door variable exclusively for the door, if you want it self-contained, then you could do it with door. But if you wanted it connected to a given player, say in the context of a multiplayer game, it's probably better to attach it to the player. So I would probably recommend player in this context,
Okay.
even though I imagine you're going for a single-player game, right?
Yes. It's basically a single player game with Twitch chat
Yeah,
integration.
which honestly, that sounds fun. Is it like Twitch chat voting where you go?
Yes, it is. It's basically like choice chambers. Choice chamber. Yeah. It's essentially that, but for VR.
I mean, if you develop it and send a copy to some big streamers like Doug, you know.
Yeah, I plan on it. Yeah, that's the goal.
Actually, really clever marketing.
And that way I can save. That way I can save on marketing
Yeah.
because it's already going to be marketed to the people.
Yeah, to the people who want
that
it.
it's
Yeah.
supposed to go to. Yeah. So rigs or meshes.
Honestly, I would just go ahead and go in the search BP_3rd. First, go to the main content folder.
Characters or no content.
Yeah, BP_3rd. Yeah, that.
Oh yeah, I was messing around with
Sure.
a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that was way over there. Okay. Go to event begin play.
Okay.
Go ahead and drag a sequence off of the beginning of event begin play.
So drag a sequence.
So drag off that sequence. And then you can plug in, then basically all we need is a strand for the other one to go into, so that way it'll get the whatchamabobber done. So now we need to go ahead and do, does save game exist? And then, this is important, make sure you keep the name of the slot the same as you had it before.
I believe it was door, right?
Was it door? Was it doors? I would check. As it would be case sensitive. Yep, door. Okay. Perfect.
Door. Yeah.
Okay. Plug it into the then 0. Then branch.
I just swapped it around because I hate crossing wires.
No, and honestly, the order shouldn't matter. If you go ahead and go to the Boolean branch, or sorry, the return value, and then you're going to get a branch off that.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I knew it was a Boolean, but so what do I need to do?
Thinking in programmer branch, yeah.
See, at least I remembered that one because branch deals with
Yeah.
true or false. At least I remember.
I don't understand why they don't just call it if. But I digress.
Yeah.
In any case, you're going to, now you have that. If a save game does exist, you are going to load game from slot. And then slot name door, which I recommend promoting that to a variable, just so that way you can work with the same one throughout this entire blueprint.
Got it. So it's so if I promote it to variable,
compile and save. So that way you can plug in slot name to does save game exist too.
Oh, this, yeah. So then, do I need door then?
So you do have door, but in the bottom right, do you see where it says slot name? And then door? Yeah, that's punching there.
Got it.
Okay, so go back to the load game slot. Okay, so now, oh sorry, no, load game from slot. So what this would do is go ahead and see. So you have the game loading. What you're going to, you're going to need to go ahead, go back to the BPI save interface. Or the door save, BPI. Okay, and go ahead and make another event. And go ahead and call it self. Yep, that's correct. Oh, okay, won't let you. Copy of self. Okay, then outputs. 1 there. And I'll let you take a guess what we're going to do here. So think about what the function's called.
Yeah, so this would be called doors then, right? Or door?
Not quite. So this is sending a copy of the object that holds the doors in it, right? Okay, so go ahead and go to the variable type, where it says Boolean now.
Yeah, okay.
BP underscore. Save game. Or, oh wait, what did you name yours? BP underscore.
So the BPI?
What did you name your save game object? Oh, door save, I think it was. BP underscore door save. Yes, that's it. Object reference. Perfect. Name it if you want. Don't name it. I don't really care. Probably door save would be a good name for it if you wanted to. Alright, go ahead and compile save. Then, now that you have that function, you're going to go to the BP door save. One to the right. The BP door save, not BPI.
Ah.
Okay, then you're going to implement the other event. Where it says copy of self. Left side.
It's hard for my eyes to adjust.
Left side.
Left side. So, there it is.
And what object do you think we should pass in through there?
I really, this is all new.
Sure.
I really have.
What's the name of the function?
The function itself is like this one, copy of self, right?
So, what do you think we should send a copy of?
Self.
Why don't you try that? Drag off the pin. The blue pin.
Got it. So is what, just self?
Try that.
Get reference of self?
That's it. Okay, so now if we go to the player character, BP underscore third person character. So load game from slot, then you can go ahead and do BP, and drag off that. Save, copy, or sorry, BPI to go ahead and pull up the function. Copy of self. Now, that load game is what's actually creating that object based off that file that you made.
Yes.
So you're going to go ahead and drag the return value from the load game into the target. And then what you're going to want to do now is, let's not worry about if a save game doesn't exist right now. Let's actually, now we should go ahead and get it out of the way. Go ahead and drag off of the, first promote the door save to a variable, right click it. Variable, and I'll just make a variable so now you have that. Then go ahead and drag off of the false, go to the little left.
Wait.
No, so drag the graph a little to the left so we can see. There you go.
Oh.
Sorry, I communicated that poorly. Go ahead and go drag off the false. And then, if the save game does not exist, what do you think we should do?
Print string?
That's not a bad option, so we know that it doesn't exist. But, you know, if a save game doesn't exist, why not make one?
Yeah.
Save game slot.
So save game slot.
What should we? Yep.
And then
You're getting it.
that would be slot.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. It'll take me a minute, but I'll get there.
That's the objective.
And I could have swore we used a blue variable before for this thing.
Actually, that's a good point.
Is it door save?
It actually wouldn't be. Oh, hold on. You're going to do create save game. Sorry. So there's one thing that we need to do in advance. So drag off the false again.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Where do I need to bring it?
No, you're going to put it a little before, actually. Create. Save. Save. Yeah, create save game object. And then you're going to drag the return value into the blue there. And then in the select class, you're going to select your BP underscore save. And yeah, if you want to go ahead and reorder those so it's a little more bearable to look at.
Yep. That's decent.
Okay. You zoom in just a bit more.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm making you strain.
Save game slot. Wait to save, then save it to the slot. Perfect. Okay. So now the save game exists. So what you would do now that the save game exists is all we have to do is actually handle the implementation of it. So basically, is there any event called when the player hits a door?
Yeah, yes, the trigger.
Okay, sure. So in this case, I would probably right-click in the function, or right-click anywhere and create an event. Type custom event. Give it a name. Name it. Let me think. Walked through door. Those spaces hurt my brain. Okay, sorry.
Sorry,
That's fine. It's just the programmer in me. Go ahead and drag off of that. Or actually, go ahead and get a copy of the door save. So get that variable. No, bottom left. And then drag off that. Increment. And then under BPI door save, event increment integer message.
Wait, which one?
The message, bottom one.
Off this one? And then what did you tell me to do?
Plug it in. Alright. So, now we're done. We have our function. Now we just need to call it when we walk through the door. So save. Go to your door. And then wait. So yeah, a little closer. Zoom in. And then off of the as third person character, you're going to call the event went through door or whatever you named it.
I think it was went through door.
Walk through door.
Yeah, went through door. Walk through door. Yeah.
And then the target is going to be third person character. Yep, drag that in. Now, that's everything, but right now you wouldn't actually be able to see the door or the number itself. So I recommend going to the BP door save.
Okay. Currently, when I walk through it, I do see the number 1.
Oh, do you know where that print string is? You can use Control F.
Yeah, I'm trying to just figure out. In order to use Control F, I would actually have to know what it is, correct?
You would need to know what object
Yeah.
it's in.
Okay.
Honestly, probably the easiest way to do it is to...
I'm almost certain, unless I deleted it.
Hold on, I think I saw it. Zoom out a little bit. Top left.
Is it this?
Yes. No?
No. Is it?
It's a print string.
No. I was just
Okay.
I was working on something else, I guess, that I just.
You know what? Let's just go ahead and go back to BP door save.
Tell you what, does it even print? It
Oh,
doesn't
it
even
doesn't.
print.
Okay.
Okay.
Stop the game.
Cool. So I must have gotten rid of it out of frustration.
Okay, BP door save.
BP door save.
So you're going to go to the other function. Event increment integer.
Other function.
And then that's what you're going to go ahead and do a print string at the end there. And just plug in the doors variable.
This is going to be doors, right?
Now, I'm not sure if...
And then now
I don't think going to a new level actually does remove the print strings. But if it does, there's a way around that too. Go ahead and start the game. Yes.
1, 2. Hey, it's working. Don't mind my little
Is that
pet.
an infinite loop?
Yeah. Basically, it'll infinite loop
Yeah.
until I basically. But the way I want to set it up, eventually, is like, every 5 or 10 levels you go to the shop. Every, 15 levels you meet a boss or something like that.
All right. So the last thing I just briefly mentioned is deleting the level, which that's pretty simple. It's just when the player's health reaches 0, you would delete whatever save is in that slot. As you planned for this to sort of be like, you when you die, you lose your progress, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So that's it.
Alrighty, when I get to that point, I will let you know, but it's probably gonna be a good while.
Indeed. All right.
But I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I can't promise how many more of these I can do just because of how time consuming
No.
it is.
I didn't imply.
Oh
that,
yeah,
like,
no, and I didn't take it that way. Don't worry. I might need to start charging.